Overflows.
Consciousness, a wave on the surface of the ocean of the being. Insights into life, love, and light. One part of you is conscious. This is 1/10, while 9/10 of you is unconscious. If the conscious part thinks itself to be whole, it becomes the ego. Then it forgets about the unconscious part, and then the part imagines itself to be the whole. Then it is the ego. If conscious becomes aware of the unconscious also, that is the whole effort of religion. That is the whole effort of meditation. If conscious turns back, looks back, and becomes aware of the unconscious also, the dark night within, then conscious knows that I am conscious, and at the same time unconscious as well. My consciousness is just a wave on the surface of the ocean. The unconscious is vast, then ego disappears. Ego is the part but thinks itself to be the whole. So too, non-ego is also the part. When non-ego becomes aware of the whole, and then ego disappears. How to define the nature of consciousness? It has never been defined. It never will be defined. Who will define it? To define it, you have to be away from it. To define anything, you have to stand out of it. You need a distance. Perspective will not be possible if the distance is not there. You are consciousness and unconsciousness both. There is nobody who can stand outside and define it. You can know it, but you cannot define it. That is why all religions are mysteries. That is why all religions are mysterious, mystical, vague, and cloudy, because no term which is very basic to religion can be defined. The subject cannot be made the object. I cannot put myself in front of me, so I cannot define. Neither has Buddha defined nor Jesus. Definition as such is debarred by the very nature of the phenomena. Everything else can be defined because consciousness is the definer. Everything else is before consciousness. The consciousness can know it. It can go around, watch, observe, experiment, define, dissect. But who will define consciousness? You cannot go away from it. You are it. You can know it, but you cannot define it. Knowledge is possible. Only knowledge is not possible, only knowing. That is why psychologists say that between 7 and 14 years of age, each child starts learning to say no more and more. By saying no, he is getting out of the psychological womb of the mother. Even when there is no need to say no, he will say no. And whenever you come across anything new, no is the natural reply. This the child learns from the mother, When a woman realizes for the first time that she is pregnant, her response is always a capital no. The child learns this. Even when to say yes is in his favor, he will still say no. There is much at stake. He has to learn to say no more and more. By the time he is 14, sexually mature, he will say the ultimate no to the mother. He will fall in love with another woman. That is his ultimate no to the mother. He is turning his back to the mother. He says, I am finished with you. I have chosen my woman or my man. I have become an individual, independent in my own right. I want to live my life. I want to do my own things. This happens more and more in the West. Have short hair, he will have long hair. If the parent insists have long hair, he will have short hair. Just watch a little longer. When hippies became parents, then they will see their children will have short hair because they will have to learn no. If the parents insist cleanliness is next to godliness, the children will start living in every kind of dirt. They will be dirty. They will not take a bath or clean themselves or use soap. And they will find rationalizations that soap is dangerous to the skin, that it is unnatural and no animal ever uses soap. They can find as many rationalizations as possible, but deep down, all those rationalizations are just cover-ups. The real thing is they want to say no, and of course, when you want to say no, you have to find reasons. Remember, no gives you a sense of freedom. Not only that, it also gives you a sense of intelligence. To say no needs no intelligence. When you say yes, nobody asks you why. When you have already said yes, who bothers to ask you why? There is no need of any reasoning or argument. You have already said yes. When you say no, why is bound to be asked. It sharpens your intelligence. It gives you a definition, a style, freedom, etc. Watch the psychology of the word no. It is so hard for human beings to be in harmony because of consciousness. Consciousness gives freedom. Freedom gives you the capacity to say no, and there is no possibility to say no than to say yes. And without yes, there is no harmony, and there can be no. Yes is harmony, but it takes time to grow up, to come up to such a maturity where you can say yes and yet remain free. Where you can say yes and yet remain unique. Where you can say yes and not yet become a slave. The freedom that is brought by a no is very childish freedom. Remember, the freedom that is brought by a no is a very childish freedom. It is good for 7-year-olds to 14-year-olds, but if a person gets caught up in it and his whole life becomes a no saying, then he has stopped growing. The ultimate growth is to say yes with such a joy that child says no. That is the second childhood. And the man who can say yes with tremendous freedom and joy, without any hesitation or strings attached, without any conditions, a pure and simple joy, a pure and simple yes, that man becomes a sage. That man lives in harmony again, and his harmony is of a totally different dimension than the harmony of the trees, animals, and birds. They live in harmony because they cannot say no, and sage lives in harmony because he does not say no consciously. Between the two, the birds and Buddhas are all human beings, not grown up, immature, childish, stuck somewhere and trying to say no to have some feeling of freedom. This does not mean that you do not learn to say no. I am saying learn to say no when it is necessary to say no, but never stuck with it. Slowly and slowly see that there is a higher freedom that comes with yes, and a greater harmony, a peace that passeth understanding. Remember, consciousness is a wave on the surface of the ocean of life. Yes brings harmony. It is a conscious harmony, a greater harmony, a childlikeness. Enough for now.